Thanks for joining us today. We're going to be taking a look at some of our traditional Pilates mat exercises and moving them up to standing. The question, why would you want to do that? Because it's fun. So sometimes adding an extra challenge into your balance, your legs, just peripheral work, like it's going to be great for yourself or for your students. So take a look at some of these and see how you like them and what they do for you. Take a shoulder roll. We're going to need those shoulders here for a moment. Long arms, shoulders down and soft. I'd like you to press your arms behind you. Good, and we're going to do a small little pulse right there, pressing to the back. Okay, so we're just going to experiment with this before we start our 100. I'm going to take a look at Chris. I'm coming back onto the screen. So see how he's trying to integrate his ribs into the belly muscles at the same time. We don't want to arch our back at this one. We want everything back in together, soft shoulders. We're working on the backs of those arms right there. Perfect. And the core is just engaged slightly because of that pulsing. Okay. Now, take a little pause for a second. Whew. Whew. That's version 1. So we're going to be rotating between two things, heels down. The second version is heels up. And so maybe Chris, turn to face the screen. Good. And try that again with the arms pressing back and the heels up. We need full activation between those inner thighs to be able to work, and the ribs integrated into your belly muscles. Right. Good, bring your heels back down. Now here's the name of our game. It's the 100 standing with lifting heels and lowering heels. The first 10, the heels stay down. The second 10, so on 20, they come up, and we rotate from 10 up and 10 down. Sounds good? Yes. Okay, then
thumbs up.
Thumbs up from you. Let's get ready to rumble. No,
let's get ready to 100.
Let's get ready to 100. Take a breath to prepare. And start to pump the arms back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe. 2, 3, 4, 10. Lift. 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe. 2, 3, 4, and 20. Down. 4, 5. Breathe. 2, 3, 4, 30. Lift. 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe. 2, 3, 4, and 40. Down. 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe. 2, 3, 4, and 50. Lift. 2, 3, 4, 5. 3, 4, and 60. Down. 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe. 2, 3, 4, 70. Lift. 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe. 2, 3, 4, 80. Down. 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, and 90. Lift. 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe. 2, 3, 4, 100. Bring your heels back down and shake it out. How was that?
It was perfect. Better than good.
better than good. Now what happens? I think it's a little bit of work right there.
Yes, a challenge.
It's
for
a nice
the
challenge.
Balance, yeah, especially when you lift your heels. When you your heels.
Okay.
No, lift your heels.
It's been a long week. Let's open your legs now wide around the ground. So maybe in a parallel position, please. We're going to add a standing saw. So what we're doing is reaching your arms out towards the side. Let's take a twist to one side. It doesn't matter which side. Good. And then I'd like you to sort of round in your belly muscles as you're going down like a roll down, and try to reach that arm to the opposite leg. It could be anywhere on that leg, ankle, thigh. Maybe touch it. The other arm is reaching up towards the sky. Then come back up to standing and rotate back to the center. Good. Rotate to the other side. So this first one is more about a stretchy. Scooping your belly muscles as you go down for that standing saw. One arm reaching down, other arm reaching up towards the sky. And coming back up to standing. Good. Let's do it again at this tempo. So we're rotating. Good, keeping your hips towards the front as best as you can, rounding down. Coming back up. And rotate to the other side. And down. And back up. All right. relax your arms for a moment. Do you feel pretty warm? Yeah.
Now we do.
Susanna's like, yep.
Are we gonna do the same thing on one leg?
No, we're gonna add a little bit of, just a little bit of speed to it. Just a little bit of dynamic.
Okay.
Do what feels right to your body. Okay, reach your arms up. You're gonna rotate. Add the dynamic that makes sense to you. Rotate, round it down. Come back up. Twisting to the other side, getting taller, scooping, rounding down. And up. And you can experiment with that speed a few more times. Maybe it's faster, maybe it's slower. Let's do one more time each side. And good. And relax. Okay, a single leg stretch in standing. So let's close our legs. Okay, all right. Now, how are we going to do this? We're going to bring one knee to you, and I'd like you to bring your knee up as high as you can. Maybe point that foot so it's doing something right there. Perfect. And then I'd like you to bring it back down to the ground, so we're just getting used to it. And then lift the other leg. Knee as high as you can. Pull, pull, pull. Foot pointed. And bring it back down. Go back to that first knee, please. We're going to lift your knee. You're pulling it gently into you, and I'd like you to round your upper body towards your knee. Try to scoop in the belly muscles. Shoulders are pulling down. And come back up to standing. Beautiful. Lift your knee. Hold on to it. Scoop the belly muscles in, round. Point your foot. And come back up to standing. It is a really good balance challenge. Okay, let's do it 2 more times. See if you can identify where it is, not only in the balance, but in your belly muscles to feel it. And we go to the other side. Now, if you're standing on a squishy mat or a squishy carpet, that made it doubly hard, right?
This definitely is a challenge, especially where
when you look down.
You place your eyes.
Yeah. Great ankle work down there too. Now, what happens if we make it into a crisscross? So the same sort of principle. The legs will do almost exactly what we do in mat Pilates. Well, it is still mat Pilates, but when we're lying down, we bring the knee up. I'd like you to round and twist, trying to almost touch that elbow to your knee or your thigh. Then come back up to standing as the leg comes down to the floor. And rounding, rotating. Oh, yes. We do need a sense of humor for all of this, right? Not in...
If you fall, you fall.
If you fall, you fall. I think it's like a resilience practice, right?
No.
Like we fall, we get back up, we do it again.
Can we rename this one into flamingo?
Flamingo. Okay. Do you want to try it one more time each side?
Yeah.
The flamingo?
Oh, that's interesting.
Good. Okay. Now, let's
do both legs.
Let's do both legs at the same double leg stretch. No, we're not going to do that. Maybe turn towards the side, Chris. Go into a single leg kick. Maybe let's bring our arms into a genie position, gently pressing your shoulders down, engaging your abdominal muscles as if we're having a little corset right there. Let's stay with one leg. Doesn't matter which leg. I'd like you to bend that leg. And you're going to go 2 little kicks up to your pose. So we're going to go squeeze, squeeze, and then just tap the toes onto the floor. And then we're going to go squeeze, squeeze, tap. Squeeze, squeeze, tap. Now, as we continue, you do need a core activation here so we're not arching in our low back. Imagine that you're lying on the floor, so the entire front of your belly is in contact with your floor, including the hip bones. It is a hamstring activator for sure. 2 more. And 1 more. Let's get the other leg working a bit. All right. And explore it for yourself. After you've done it a few times, we're going to experiment with it.
We're going to try again both legs.
No, not both legs again. You and your both legs. And 1 more. Okay, now let's talk about a little detail that's in this 1 leg kick here. We're going to bend your leg 1 more time, the first leg. Okay, now at home, I'd like you to experiment where that thigh is. So bring your leg a little bit more towards the front and see how it's not as engaged in the back of the leg. And as you bring that leg towards the back, you start to feel more of what we would call the hip extensors. So everything that's on the back of the leg and the popo. I'd like you to find an uncomfortable space right there. Yeah. And then you're going to squeeze the heel into the toe and you're going to make little rapid movements. We go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and bring your foot back down.
It's also hard for the standing leg.
It's really hard for the standing.
Yeah, because it has to not compensate. It's the wrong word. It has to the opposite.
Has to adjust.
Yeah, no, it has to give the stability.
Absolutely. Okay, so you're going to bend the other leg, and you're going to move it towards the front, and then slowly, after we found that balance, remember, here's a great time to hold on to something if you needed to. Bring it back to where it starts to feel a bit uncomfortable in that hamstring, and then you're going to start those mini squeezing pulses. Pulse, and 10, and 9, and 8, and 7, and 6, and 5, and 4, and 3, and 2, and 1, and bring your foot back down. Let's relax the arms and do a little roll down to release the tension from our hamstrings. And roll back up. Okay, place your hands onto your hips. So this one is going to be very similar to where we were just at, but we're going to use it for, like, if we were to do bridging, your popo muscles and the backs of the legs are working. We're doing with 1 leg, so it's no bridge, but the same muscle group. So that leg stays bent, and we're going to be shifting that leg back. Very small movement, back and back. Your hands are on your hips to stabilize. So you can't stabilize with your hands right there, but you can notice if you're tilting in your pelvis, right? And we want the core engaged so that there's nothing happening in the hips. It's the leg that's doing the movement. And you might feel right at the top of where the leg and the popo muscles meet, right in that area is, let's say, the magic part for this one.
My hip class is still in my legs from yesterday. I can switch to the other side.
Let's switch to the other side at home as well.
It just feels a little weird, uncomfortably.
It is like definitely effective. Let's say that. Good. All right. A roll down to roll it out. Roll it out and get rid of it. Nicely done. All right, we're gonna go now in standing. At first, we don't need our legs. We're going into a breaststroke. So what we're doing is reaching the arms up over your head. Open your arms out to the side. And then finally, we bend our arms, and we do that a few times. Up and around. Good, take your time to explore that one. You want your shoulders to be moving free. You do not need to press your shoulders down away from your ears. You're looking for a place where it feels easy. Easy shoulders, scapula, those are your shoulder blades just gliding on your ribs. You know that I always have another modification, and that one is coming up right now. Here it comes. We're going to be bending our knees. So it is maybe a little bit wider if that feels more comfortable. You're going to squat down, send your hips a little bit back, and we're getting our back as parallel to the floor as possible. The lower we go, the more your back is going to be working. We do exactly the same movement with our arms. We have our breaststroke in standing. So all of your back muscles are helping you right there. If you notice this isn't right for you, come back up to standing, or just try to play around with that angle. Maybe your back needs to be a little bit more upright, or your hips need to be a little bit lower. About 2 more. Good, and then bring your hands to your thighs and give a little cat stretch, cow stretch right here. Excellent. Now we're going to roll back up to standing. Reach your arms above your head. Good. And we're getting ready for a variation of our swimming. Maybe the palms will face towards the front. We're going to give a nice little swim right here. Now with our swimming, we want our elbows to be long and the movement is coming out of our shoulders. That little perturbation, so that little agitation through the body, because we're doing it staggered, is great for the little muscles along our spine, but it's also great for the core. It's actually a sneaky little core one right there. Good. If you wanted a balance challenge, you'll continue those arms and lift your heels off. You don't have to, it's just a choice. Good. Bring your heels back down. Go back into your squat position and see what happens if you do swimming here in the squat. Good. Interesting challenge. If you needed even more balance challenge, lift your heels off. I don't know when you would need that, but always fun. Heels back down, hands to thighs, modified cat-cow. And one more. Good, and roll yourself back up to standing, please. Thank you for joining us today. I hope that you got something out of it, some creativity in there. It'd be great if you wanted to like this video. If you want to see some more, you're going to go over here. Subscribe is going to be over here. If you like the entire workout, the entire thing that we did, then link is in our description down there, and you'll find it in our membership where we have literally hundreds of creative workouts based in Pilates, fitness, bar, and more. See you soon.
Bye.